Okay, and with that, fighting concerning about range here, the Lapu Lapu being picked up. That's kind of what I was thinking is like what options would be available in the XP lane considering there's so many that's been banned out, for the most part. Lapu Lapu is probably one of the safer options you could kind of just go for Homeboy. So like with this lineup, this is not out of the box as I was saying, but in a way it's like you have to approach this ranged game that AP BREN is going to have with this, and you kind of got to cover that base here for the most part because playing out of the box and then against the fact that you're going to be getting spotted out with vision is troublesome. And then Phoveus is still like Phoveus. Signature pick for AP BREN. Nothing crazy, nothing new for AP BREN, right? Like this is something they like to do. And now they have a Minotaur. So there's a lot here that Homeboys kind of has to tackle. We'll see what this last pick's going to be. Anything off the top of your head for that gold lane?
Oh man, like does the next Nets kind of go for like the Harriet that can go like head to head with the Brody from the start, or maybe like go for like a safer choice like the Brody that you've been mentioning earlier that is actually open here for their side to take, or maybe go for something completely different. The Claude I think is still open. That is actually pretty good here with the tanky picks, but there's a Phoveus here that they have to deal with. They're gonna be locking in the Claude for the last pick here for the Homeboys, which I think is a direct answer to the tanky front line that the side of AP BREN has. But I'm just a little bit worried that there is going to be the demonic force here coming out from the side of AP BREN, which is not going to make it easy for the Claude.
Yeah, and that's I feel like the name of the game once again is like dealing with this pressure of range. And now that you have a Phoveus who's like the counter of that, like he's all in your face, you know what I mean? Like that's his job. So it's like for Homeboys, I feel like the biggest issue they have to solve here in game one is like, how do we protect what we need to as we approach the game, but then dealing with getting in range, because it's already hard enough to catch a Novaria, you know what I mean? And when it's just kind of sieging down your lineup, especially when it comes to these objectives, where what I was saying, Kim, earlier, like we'll probably see this happen and unfold. Like pay attention to this, the timing that I've been talking about from AP BREN. I wouldn't expect it to change so much because they had it down to a T, and leading into that first Lord is probably going to be very crucial for them, even with this lineup. So, with that being said, we're jumping in here into the Land of Dawn. Game number one in this second match of the day, AP BREN and Homeboys. Ogwyn, though, taking some damage already.
Yeah, this is classic moves from the side of Homeboys. What they do actually in the early game is make sure that they poke, let's say in the mid or even the gold, make sure that they poke them heavily so that they can go back and kind of recharge and reset before like objectives. And even Zorn here, being super aggressive here up against AP BREN, which is something that they actually managed to do even in the group stages. And so far, we haven't seen any of these like any early game takedowns so far, but it's a matter of like pokes from both sides.
And with that, I like the fact too that Homeboys dealing with the poke, if they want to, dealing with the range, they at least have a couple options to get out, right? Like the purifiers are there. Nets is definitely going to need it. He's going to have to kind of break some ankles here too, Kim. Like he's got to have the timing on the BMI on point, which, again, he's done many times. He's obviously he's gone through the ropes here, right? Obviously in the Philippines. So nothing new for him. But for the rest of the team, they kind of got to give Nets enough time to build up to where he needs to be. So that leaves it up to Adil and the rest of the team, to be able to scale up, to be able to hold the grounds down throughout this portion of the game. And now that this subjective is going to be up here, you're going to see it kind of unfold as both teams really try to get that level 4 available and work around this. But you can already see the positioning happening here. Kyle Teasy will go ahead and start with the turtle, but it's spotted out, right? Chibi's just around the corner for here, so they're going to go ahead and go with this turtle dance first portion of this game.
Flapteasy already here. Oh, Deal got in that demonic force as well. It's going to be Flapteasy starting it up. Turtle already at 1/4 HP. It's going to be Chibi picking it up for the side of Homeboys. There's the Appraiser's Rat from Kyle Teasy. Storm going to be able to get out, but it still goes on. Flapteasy going to be able to pop in that demonic force and lock it out the first time. There's still not going to be any casualties just yet, but AP BREN, or rather the side of Homeboys, starting it off real strong by picking up that first turtle of the game.
Yeah, it's good they get that, right? I mean, at least they're able to pull through with that. No one goes down, so no first blood just yet. And, you're going to have to kind of see these rotations happen now from Homeboys because with a little bit of this, it's like a baby step, honestly, at this point. But that's what I was saying. If they can secure the first turtles of the game, maybe even all three, that gives them this minor advantage where they really have to go toe-to-toe with AP BREN into that first Lord. And even with that, right now, look how aggressive they are on this side of the jungle of AP BREN.
Yeah, Kaltizi going to be soaking up the damage. Not going to go for the full commit. Look at Chibi here. He's actually 2 levels ahead of Kaltizi here. And this is exactly what you need to do, right? If you're a Martis, that is so good in the early game. And if you're talking about the light switch, this Martis also kind of has that light switch, right? Once it reaches mid to late game, it's already at par with everybody. It's fine. It does not have that kind of early game snowball, I'd say, once it reaches that mid to late game. So they have to watch out for that here to Homeboys, and they gotta capitalize this early game that they have.
Yeah, we'll see how they play around that once again. 30 seconds away from this turtle. AP BREN, though, are they going to get caught out here?
Kaltizi forced to use a retribution, and that's gonna be Sepat picking up the first blood. Here comes Tizi too. The rescue, but he's taking a lot of damage. That's Chibi gonna go in for that decimate and take him down. Homeboy starting it off real strong here. And this is what they have done up against AP BREN in the group stage. Just pressure out the XP lane. And if you notice it, like they're just letting that gold lane side. Let's take a look at the instant replay here.
Yeah, so as it all unfolded, once again, it's just the scaling that's been in favor right now of Homeboys. The fact, too, like you pointed it out, the Martis has been just farming up, doing well. And that's another turtle now taken as well. So the pace, the tone, it's Homeboys so far. And it's AP BREN finding themselves 3,000 gold behind. And this is quite, not what people are used to seeing from AP BREN right now. It's Homeboys just kind of giving it to them. And so with that, if they can keep the gas going without getting too reckless, that's where Homeboys has to keep it together. This is that play style we were talking about earlier, from the Malaysian region, really kind of paying dividends here. And meanwhile, Nets has just been able to farm up. That's the best case scenario for him, Have that gold lane experience. Hold on, they're going to go for it again.
Flapsies is going to be starting up. There is going to be the demonic force, but he's taking up too much damage. Kaltizi and the rest of the gang forced to back away. Not going to go for more. And that's going to be AP BREN backing it away safe and sound. 3-0 right now. And so far, Homeboys are leading. Looking at the advantage too. Chibi is levels ahead here of against Kaltizi, who's just level 7. He's already level 10 here. Interesting choice of emblem too here, Naisu. I think this is one of the first few times I actually have seen this impure rage on a Martis. Usually, like you'd go for a quantum charge. How is this different from the quantum charge here, Naisu?
I thought you were about to call me Kuya Naisu. But anyway, the impure rage for the Martis, I think like either way, you can be very flexible with these emblems. And of course, I don't think we actually get a glimpse of, the tier 1 and tier 2, what they're rolling with, but it works, right? And for the most part, it's a little bit of that extra damage. And then, of course, you can roll around with the scaling as well that comes with it. And it's kind of debatable. Some players, they like to go even with the assassin emblems. Like some of them still go with that, and they can work around it. But right now, whether it's quantum charge, whether it's this impure rage, he's making it work. And that's what counts for Chibi, because he's doing it against a very renowned jungler and team. So now third turtle's going to be up here. They're going to get in position for this one as they break through. Deal holding on to the demonic force himself.
That's something that we've seen. Classic moves gone out from Homeboys. I've seen this in the group stage where Flapsizi and Odile were kind of going at it. Turtle's going to be reset here. Odile taking a lot of the damage, though, coming out from a few. Let's see. I think they're just kind of... It's going to be Kaltizi. Okay, they're going to go for Zord here. Flickers out. Odile's going to be the first target here. Nice setup there coming out from the Minotaur. It's going to be Kaltizi picking up that turtle. They're still going to go for more here. Kaltizi's going to get taken down, but Chibi getting shut down there by Super Marco, who's kind of free hitting everyone, getting in that double kill. 2 kills for the gold laner of AP BREN.
Yeah, did I just say it, Burger Kim? You can't get too reckless. Pressing on the gas here, Homeboy was, but This is the punishment I'm talking about, right? Yes, they're still ahead. They're holding on to a lead. That's great. But they can't let that happen again. And the fact, too, that Super Marco got those 2 kills, and now he's got the 2 items he needs. He's got the Blade. He's got the Malefic Roar. He's going to be a threat. He's going to be kind of tough to deal with because right now, Few's still building up, right? He's not where he needs to be on the Novaria just yet. He's trying to scrap up a little bit more gold to get to the items that he needs. And also a DHS being picked up by Super Marco. So now he's got the 3. That was a huge kind of power spike in this last minute that he just went through. And this is what I'm talking about, where this usually happens in the case before that first Lord coming up. So in under a minute, it's going to be there. And Super Marco, if he is not taken care of, if he's not focused down, he's going to be a threat to the Homeboys. So they just got to keep it together right now. The lead they have, work around it, try to get some turrets if they can. But you can see this. That's exactly why Ogwin, for the most part, will just kind of plan himself around here from Super Marco. So Homeboys, they want to make a rotation down bot.
Ogwen here has the flicker. It's going to be Udil taking a lot of the damage. Torn apart memories. Is it enough? It's going to... As it takes out Udil from the backside, Sepat's still going to be going for it. Appraiser's Rat there being popped in by Kaltizi. Knock up from the backside. Sepat's going to get taken down, but Flaptizi still going to go for it. Demonic Force is still up as Chibi and the rest of the Homeboys are going to be running away from it. There's going to be Astral Echo too from Few. Everybody's real low, but they won't be committing for more as AP BREN going to be setting themselves up against this Lord. This should be a free Lord here for the side of AP BREN. Homeboys are chunked down to half.
Did I not say that before the first Lord? There is a play. There is a play that AP BREN does. And this time, it wasn't even on their will. It was Homeboys that tried to make the play in the bottom side. But Ogwin knew that that would probably happen with the pressure they were putting on that turret. They see it coming, and they fight. And Super Marco, like I said, he had the 3 items he needed. It didn't matter. Udil took a couple hits, got marked up, and then torn apart, right? Like, that's what happened, and now the first Lord is secured. I've been talking about this for months now, that AP BREN, this is their timing, this is what they like to do. And this has now garnered themselves to a point where it's even, economy-wise. But still, Super Marco is huge, and he just picked up a Wind of Nature. So that gets a little bit more dicey for Homeboys because one, it's like, how do we get to him? And Few is also building up really well now at this point. Another turret's going to fall here. So huge space advantage now for AP BREN to work around with. Yes, it's only 1 turret against Homeboys, but the power play that they're having right now is huge in comparison to the past couple minutes.
Rose Gold Meteor has been picked up too here by Sepat. I'm thinking about what the Homeboys needs to do at this point exactly. Definitely the shutdown on Super Marco will be big. The shutdown goal is going to have to be there. But at the same time, like AP BREN has already taken back the space that Homeboys has been taken in for the first few games. And so far, like at this point, right, who are going to burst down? Flaptizi, Kaltizi, all these players already have items that they need. And at this point, like Super Marco can also sustain whatever Homeboys is going to be throwing out since he already has the Wind of Nature, like what you pointed out. So it's either up to Nets, who has been quietly farming actually so far for the side of Homeboys, but hasn't been able to pop any of those Blazing Duets yet.
Well, I would say like Nets is still in a good position to have, you know, some impact here as we get in further into this game. And that is something that AP BREN knows very well. It's something that Super Marco himself, when he's on the claw, does. And you can see it. Nets is already putting the pressure there. And AP BREN is going to respond exactly to that, right? So this is something we're familiar with. It's almost like a game of cat and mouse. Like, they have to be able to answer the pressure on these side lanes. AP BREN, even with the minor lead that they have in space, they still have to manage it, right? Because it can quickly go in favor of Homeboys here if they're able to pull down some of this pressure. And that's why also you see Sapat putting himself there in the bottom lane, right? So the rest of this, it's kind of like Homeboys, they have to flip the mindset of, all right, let's protect Nets as much as possible. Let's keep him alive. Let him do what he needs to do. He does have that Purify. He's got some of the items that he needs now in this Claude. He should be scaled up really well. Look at this. Like, taking a look at the items here. On point. He's where he needs to be. Still building up. Most likely that Wind of Nature next. Grabs it as soon as I say. So now he's got it. That's great. Now he's matched up. He's still a little bit behind in terms of gold. but he's well matched up against Super Marco. Now that this next Lord is up here, Homeboys is actually in a good position. If they can pull this off, even possibly with a concealed play from Zorn, if they want to go that route, it could happen. You can see them. They're actually putting pressure in the space around this Lord already. And AP BREN has to respect it. They know exactly that. Nets is going to work on this turret. He's got to make sure he's fine. BMI's back. So still the push and pull here for the second Lord as both teams work on it. The shots, though, coming out from Few. They're going to have to be careful about that.
Not going to be any ultimates invested just yet. Just going to be coming out from Few just for Division Gaming. Lord's going to be reset here. Appraiser strat onto deal. Taking a lot of the damage there. Nobody's fully committing to all of these clashes, knowing that there's also pressures on the sides. But AP BREN might actually want to close this out by taking this Lord Ogwen, going in for that setup there. Turtle, or rather Lord though, 1/4 HP here. One more HP. Let's see if Kaltizi can be able to take it with the Retribution. Storm's going to go down here. Super Marco still free hitting everyone though. And AP BREN might actually just reset there and actually take their time to pressure the side of Homeboys here. But, you know, Homeboys, I like the attempt. There was some light there. They actually could have made some plays. But now AP BREN, this is where they're good at. They're going to be pressuring this mid tower. Second tier already down. Only the inhibitors left here.
Oh, that's tough. Again, still going to be fighting it out. Chibi going to try to keep them at bay here. Nets as well with the rest of the team. They still have a little bit longer for Zorn to be up. Couple seconds here. They should be full forced, of course, by this time that AP BREN gets ready for this assault. So most likely, again, like we just saw from that last exchange, they approached it very well. Homeboys for a little bit looked like they had some control, and then AP BREN punished them, and it's still Super Marco having a massive game. So now Lord's here. It's going to go ahead and charge in.
Be knocking on the doors of Homeboys. Look at the damage too coming out from Few from the backside, poking everyone before they shred this Lord. AP BREN can actually go for the pressure here. Pressure in all of the lanes, knowing that Few is just at the backside to cover. Kaltizi going to be jumping in, soaking up all of the damage. FlapTZ not going to be investing that demonic force just yet. There's a tug from Zorn, but it's not going to do much as AP BREN just going to be backing away from that one.
Yeah, they don't have to find it. I mean, for the most part, AP BREN, they're very objective-based right now. That's what they're thinking. They get the 2 turrets. They're most likely going to get this third, too. It's only a couple hits away. And still, they might put the pressure to actually force the situation if they want to. Chibi already taking a couple shots on the marks here.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out from Super Marco. Sepa trying to go for the backside. Goes for Bravest Spider, but he gets spotted here by Super Marco and the rest of the gang. Zorn, FlapTZ just zoning everyone and still not getting taken down. Demonic Force is still up as he goes for more here. Minion waves are also crashing in here for the side of AP BREN. They might actually just go for the finish, but there's just a lot of heroes still up here for the side of Homeboys. They might actually just reset here and try to go in for the next Lord.
Okay, they take the discipline route, they back off. Sapat was the only one that went down, and I know we didn't get a good look at it, but there was relatively a good effort from Homeboys there, and it kind of split off also the team, AP BREN, from really trying to win that fight through. And it's Super Marco, he still did not go down, but overall, Few was able to be very elusive, and he hasn't died, and that's why the Novaria is so strong with the way that her kit works in Super Marco. So it's like Homeboys, your biggest thing is how do we find a pickoff? How do we actually get one of these targets locked in? And, at this point, too, Nets has the items that he needs. It's not really much of an itemization thing. It's how do we actually execute this and pull it off? And that might come down to just going toe-to-toe with these Lord fights, right? The next one is now up. We're nearly at the 17-minute mark. Homeboys has the items they need. It's they just have to win this dance, and that's what they're going to get prepped and ready for. But Ogwen also waiting patiently there in the bush. Udil holding on to his own demonic force. We'll see how they approach it. Lord going to be half health here. Super Marco also double buffed up. This is very crucial on how Homeboys tries to get in position here. Not sure if they're even going to be able to right now. FlapTZ also there. Yeah, they have to. So Chibi waiting patiently. He's done this multiple times. Ogwen goes in.
There's going to be the pokes there coming out from Few, actually causing the rest of the Homos to actually back away. Just one wipeout can actually take them down. They don't have any inhibitors left, and that's going to be AP BREN securing in, I believe, the second Lord of the game actually here for this side. So without any inhibitors here, second enhanced Lord for the side of AP BREN, this can create a lot of pressure. But for the homeboys, right, they have to find that pickoff on the back lines. The only one that can actually do that at this point is Sorn with the nice setup. Or Sepat, actually.
Yeah.
You've seen him attempt on Super Marco and Few. But at this point, no inhibitors left. They gotta focus on defending their base here. They have the Lord for the side of AP BREN.
Yep, conceal already used here. They're gonna get spotted out though.
Clap TZ. He's gonna be using that demonic force up. Gonna keep it going. Look at the damage onto Chibi. Nice setup there by Ogwen. Everyone's real low here from the side of Homeboys. Appraiser's Wrath gonna take down Zorn. And from the backside, they're still dealing with that demonic force, which is Odile. Not gonna be able to make it. It's only Nets and Chibi left to defend. The Lord is still knocking in the base of Homeboys, and that's gonna be it. AP BREN takes in game number 1.
Man, oh man. So they take game number 1 here in a... It took them, it took them some time, right? It took them some time to get where they needed to be. But like I was saying and how it was going to unfold, they got to that first Lord, they got the pick they were looking for, and then they kind of had this kind of snowball effect from there. But Homeboys, man, in the early game, Burger Kim, they had what they exactly needed.